I know you're frustrated. You've been doing this thing for quite some time, and you've wondered why you haven't made any progress. You see all these influencers that are boasting and bragging about this remote lifestyle, and you want the same thing, but you don't know why it hasn't came to you yet. And the reason why is because you're focused on the wrong things. When you watch all these people online, what they're preaching to you is that you need skills. You need skills. You need skills. And they're often telling you about skills like copywriting and SEO and Facebook ads. But the reality of the situation is that there's so many people that have these skills. So what separates the ones that have these skills and win from the ones that have these skills and lose? See, that's what makes the difference, and that's what you need to figure out. But what I've realized is that the ones that have the skills and win, the reason why they win is not because of the skills themselves, it's because of the traits of their character. And what does that mean? Well, it's because they're disciplined, focused, resilient, they're curious, they have this innate drive to want to really conquer the world. And that drive, that characteristic, doesn't only fall back in marketing or business, it goes into everything. And because they have this this inner feeling to want to conquer the world, they only see each individual thing as a tool to get them to where they want to go. So a lot of the times they have a much greater purpose or a much larger purpose than what's on the surface of what you're seeing. So when you see a lot of these guys boasting about, this is how much money I made, this is what I did, I'm going to Bali. A lot of the times, like I said, that's rooted in something much deeper. Like, the money is just a tool in order to get them to where they wanted to go in life. And you can't really have that drive until you've defined what it is that you want to conquer when you have money. Because again, money is just a tool. So you have to figure out what you want to do with it. And once you figure out what you want to do with it, then the path to get where you want to go becomes much easier. Otherwise, you're going to feel miserable and depressed and dealing with all these emotions that you need to conquer on top of trying to conquer the things that you want to conquer in life in general. And so the biggest advice that I always give people when it comes to doing this stuff is you have to do the things that's going to allow you to build up the resilience, the discipline, the focus, right? You have to build these things up. And people think that this is just within other people. Like, they think that you can't create this for yourself, but the reality is you can create this for yourself. You just need to know how. And so I think the biggest way to accomplish this stuff, and you've probably noticed this, have you ever noticed that the people who are ultra successful have similarities, like going to the gym, reading books, writing a lot? If you think about those three things, most of these things, especially in this day and age, you do not like to do. Let me not say you, but people do not like to do. People don't like to read, people don't like going to the gym, and people do not like to write, right? And the thing is that those are the things that teaches you how to be focused, teaches you how to be disciplined, and teaches you how to be resilient. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of other things that you can do, like getting into, maybe you don't like going to the gym specifically. Go get into boxing, right? Like, that's something that gives you mental fortitude. If you go do boxing, I promise you, by the time you're done doing boxing, you're not going to be thinking about how hard it is to write some copy or to do some sales to get some clients. Because boxing is a greater, much more in-depth, mentally draining exercise to do. And so it makes everything else that you do afterwards seem much easier. If you read books like this, Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, right? This is a very hard book to get through. It's not that it's hard to read. It's just that it's so much information in here, and a lot of it is regurgitated because he's trying to make sure that you truly understand the concept of this book. I mean, I understood the concept in this book like really quickly, honestly. But like I didn't finish this. So if you can finish this book, I definitely you're on your path to winning, right? You want something tangible that you can do right now? Read books. The other two books I would suggest are these books. So I just bought these and I'm about to, tear them apart. The Fabric of Reality. You need to get this book, right? It just opens your mind to life. And The Beginning of Infinity. It's by the same author, and his name is David Deutsch. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I promise you get these books, and you read them, and you don't just read them. Like, you need to actually read and practice active recall. So what does that mean? Read a chapter, close the book, try to remember what you read. If you try to remember what you read, and not like writing notes or writing in your book, because writing in your book is just like lazy work, right? Like, you don't really remember anything like that. You think you do, but you don't. All right, if you want to remember stuff, you open the book, you read the book, and then after you read whatever you're reading, I'm telling you, you close the book, right? And you just sit down and say, okay, what did I learn? And then you can write out what you learned, and that's how you can take notes. Like, you can take notes afterwards. If you want to write, you should write. You should write every single day, and whether it's a journal or whatever it is. But I would say the best thing you could write is are short stories. If you write short stories, fictional stories, they don't have to be true. I think writing is better, because fiction allows your mind to go to a place that isn't real, and it allows you to explore. It allows you to explore the world of fiction in so many different ways that you can't explore the world of reality, right? And it allows you to build up connections, and you have to actually sit down and think and be creative to do that. And creative work, is something that is what requires a lot of discipline and focus at the end of the day. So these are the reasons why you're not succeeding. You got to go to the gym, bro. Like, you got to lift weights. That's hard. It's something that requires a lot of mental energy. And when you're feeling like you're about to quit as you're lifting, you have to be able to pull through. You have to be able to get through that at the end of the day. And yeah, this is why people think that they need skills to win, but then they don't win because they've gotten the skills, but they don't have everything else. And then we could even go deeper with this and start talking about the fact that you might have the discipline, but then you don't have focus, right? And focus is, or not that you don't have focus, but your focus is concentrated on the wrong thing. So you might have the discipline, you might have all this, you might read books, you might write, you might do everything, you might go to the gym, you might be in perfect shape, and then you're still losing. And you're like, why am I losing in this world? I know I'm smarter than these people. I know I'm as smart as the people that's winning. So why am I losing? Well, in that case, you're losing because you're focused on the wrong thing. Like, you might be focused on getting a job or focused on being the best at whatever your skill is, when you should be focused on acquisition. It's simple, right? So if you want to win, you have to look at yourself, pay attention, really deconstruct the things that you're doing, the things that are going wrong in your life, and then figure out how to create a clear pathway to get what you want. And you have to do this in small increments, small incremental steps. And you start by first breaking down your own internal behavior, and then you go to the skill, and then you go to the focus, right? And you focus on the things that matter the most. But if you start from the skill, but you don't have the internal behavior that you need to conquer the world, then how are you going to conquer the world? You're not. And also, if you're spending all your time looking at, watching TV and watching the latest show and doing all this stuff that makes you feel like you're making progress because it's hitting your dopamine receptors, but you're really not doing anything, then you're just killing your energy. You're killing your focus. You need to get off of social media. You need to create more than you consume. You need to stop watching TV. You need to read books. Read books technically is consuming, but it's a different form of consumption. It forces you to think, right? You need to go to the gym. You need to really tell yourself, I'm going to do this, and stick with it. So that's it for this video. It's a rant, but I just wanted to come on here and express my thoughts. Peace.